Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will learn about bitwise operator. What is a bitwise operator? Bitwise operators are those operators which works on bits, that is 0 and 1. These are the few basic type of bitwise operators. The first one is the binary AND operator. The second one is binary OR, then binary XOR, then binary ones complement. Then we have binary left shift, binary right shift and shift right 0. So these are the few basic bitwise operator. As you can see, the name starts with binary. So that means we will be working with 0 and 1. So let's have a look. The first one is the bitwise AND operator. That means if you have A and B, the value of A is 0 and B is 0, the result output for A and B bitwise operator will be 0. So now don't bother too much about this. Let's create an example and then I will explain you each and everything. Okay, so let's go to the Eclipse now, create a program, and now let's take two variables. I have taken A and B. The value of A is 50 and B is 40. Now let's use the binary AND operator and print the statement. See, I have performed the binary AND operation on A and B and their result will be stored in integer C, and then I have printed the output. Let's execute the command now. As you can see, I am getting the output as 32. So now we have to understand how we are getting a 32 as output. So to understand that, you have to go through few steps. The first one is you have to know how to convert decimal into a binary number. So first of all, let's convert 50 into a binary number. To convert a decimal number into a binary number, you just have to divide it by 2 each and every time, and you have to write the remainder separately. Or you can just go to Google and type conversion from decimal to binary. You will get the software to convert it instantly. But I have to explain, so let's just start with. So first of all, when we divide 50 by 2, I will get 25 as quotient and 0 as remainder. So when I will again divide 25 by 2, I will get 1 as remainder. So as I keep on going till I reach 1. So now we have got the output, that is our remainder. So now what I need to do is I have to write from bottom to top. So let's write it from bottom to top. Now see, I have written the output from bottom to top over here. Now as I have told you, this is a binary number. That means 0 over here is of 2 to the power 0. The 1 over here is of 2 to the power 1. And similarly 2 to the power 5. So let's write it down. See, we have written the output over here. And below that you can see I have written the value of that number, that is 2 to the power 5 means 32. So now let's calculate the output so that we will know if we are getting the right output or not. So to calculate the output, what you need to do is you have to write those value from here which has 1 in it. So the first one is 32. So let's write 32, then 16, then 2. That will be all. Now press enter. You will get 50 as output. So the conversion from decimal to binary is true. So as we have done it for the 50, I have again done it for the 40. So these are the two output which we are getting, that is 110010 for 50 and 1010000 for 40. So now let's perform bitwise AND operation and see the output. I have written it over here, bitwise AND operator. We have to perform the AND operation. So let's see the chart first. I have copy pasted the chart from that. So bitwise AND operator says that if you are performing a AND operation on 0 and 0, it will give the output as 0. Then 1 0 will again give the output as 0. Then 0 0 will again 0. 0 1 will give 0. 1 0 will give you 0. And 1 1 will give you 1. So this will be all. We have got our output. So let's convert this output to a decimal number. Let's copy paste it again. Control C. As you can see, all of these digits are 0. Only we have 1 at the first position. So that means the value over here will be 2 raised to the power 5. That is 32. So our output will be 32. And if you will check the output in the Eclipse, you will see that you are getting an output of 32. This will be all for the bitwise operator. You can perform bitwise OR operation and bitwise XOR operation and any other operation by yourself. I have given you the chart. You can try it out. If you will find any difficulty, just ask in the comment section. I will be happy to help you out. There is one more thing I would like to tell. We can too use the bitwise operator in evaluating the expression. Let's take the same example of logical operators. So this was the basic program. Let's check the output. See, we are getting the output as A is greatest, which is correct. But what will happen if I will remove this AND operator? That means now our expression has changed from logical operators to the use of bitwise operator. So let's execute the command again. See, we are again getting the output as A is greatest. So that means you can use the bitwise operator similarly as logical operators also. There is one difference only. As you can see, when we have written the logical operator, and if the first condition was false, then it will not check for the second condition. That means if A is greater than B is false, then in logical operators it will not check for A is less than C. It will just exit this block of code and will check for this condition. But when you are using a bitwise operator instead of logical operator in this context, it will check both of these conditions. Either it is true or false, it will check for both these conditions. So that will be all for the logical operators and the bitwise operators. In this tutorial, we will learn about ternary operator. Ternary operator is also known as conditional operator. So basically, ternary operator needs 3 operands to evaluate the Boolean expression. And whatever will be the result, it will assign that result to your variable. As you can see in the syntax, we have to take a variable, then there will be an expression that will be evaluated. Then there are 2 values. If the condition is true, it will assign this value to your variable. But if the condition is false, it will then assign this value to your variable. In either cases, your variable will be assigned a value. So let's take an example and see it for ourselves. Go to Eclipse, create a file. I have created mine. So let's take a variable called total marks. Let's assign a value to total marks, 400. Now let's check the result. Int result equal to. So according to the syntax, we have to put the expression over here. So total marks should be greater than the passing marks, that is our 300. If it is greater than the passing marks, then what should be the value? We can write any value. Let's write 1, then colon sign. Then what will be the value if it is false? Let's write 0, then semicolon. That will be all. You can again check for the condition. If let's check result is equal to 1. So it's up to you how you want to use the ternary operator, or you can either print it over here, result. Let's execute the command. See, the expression here was true, that is 400 is greater than 300. So we are getting the output as 1. And similarly, when we compared the output over here, we are getting the result as your pass. So this is how you can use a ternary operator. You can check it again for the false output. Let's write it 200 and execute the command again. See, we are getting the output as 0 and the another output as you are fail. Let's take the example with the string data type. So in this example, let's take the input from the user. So now we have imported the scanner class. We have created the instance of the scanner class over here. Now let's take the input from the user. So we are taking a string input, and I have asked a simple question that most of the father ask. So be specific while you are giving an answer. Okay. So now let's put the condition. See, then I have given the condition. The result will be stored in this variable over here. So now our condition is whatever input I will give to this variable, that is answer variable, it will compare that variable to the yes. That means if the user inputs yes, it will print this statement over here. If it enters anything apart from yes, it will print this statement. So now let's give a command to print the statement. So see, I have given the command to print the output whatever user has given in the input, and then whatever will be the output of this ternary operator will be printed. So now let's execute the command. So tell me, do you have a girlfriend? So I will write no because I don't know who will be watching this video. So let's enter. We have got the output as, are you kidding? No, son, you better tell the truth now. So it's for your own good that you will tell the truth. Let's execute the command again, and this time let's write yes. Well, still, if you will ask me personally, I will say the no, but for this I am saying yes. Let's enter. Are you kidding? Yes. What's her name? You can keep on asking question using this ternary operator. It's your program now. So this will be all for this tutorial. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment sections. In this tutorial, we will learn about another type of decision making statement, that is switch case. So what is switch case? You can imagine switch case as a menu with a list view, where you can select from the list of available options. So let's have a look at the syntax first. This is the syntax for switch case. Very first line is switch. That means it will have the expression for which you have to evaluate and select the case, and in between the brackets you have the number of cases available. The format to write the case is case, then a value. The value will be of the same data type as the expression, then a colon sign, then in between that you can write the number of statements or function you want to call. Then there is a break. Break is an optional statement that is used to transfer the flow of code from the point it is initiated to the end of the block. Then you can write another case, and you can go on with the any number of cases you want to write. Then at last there is a default option. As you can see, it is optional, but it is a good practice to write a default case at the end, because if any of the case doesn't met the expression, then it will by default execute the default case. So let's move on and see the rules for using switch. But before having a look at the rules, let's start with an example, and when we will create an example, then I will relate all the rules with the example. So let's create a file first. So we will be learning switch case in this. I will be taking an example to select from the number of days. So let's take an input from user. We have taken the input in the variable day. So now let's put the condition, that is switch case. Switch day. We will select from the option within the days. So let's write the cases now. Case, let it be day 1, colon sign. We will print the output as, and then a break statement. Similarly, you can go on with the cases. Case 2, write 2 or 3 cases. See, what I have done till now is I have taken the input from the user. So that was the easy part. Now you know the syntax for the switch. So I have written switch and given an expression day, that it will select from the day. Then I have given the cases, that the value of day can be from the number of cases. So this is our first case, case 1. That means if the value of day is 1, it will print this output and it will exit the switch case. And if the value in the switch expression didn't match the value in the case expression, then it will execute the default part. So let's execute the command and see the output first. Down in the console window, you can see it's asking me to please enter a value for day. I can enter any value, but as you can see, I have given only 3 cases for right now, 1, 2 or 3. So let's start with the first one. Let's enter 1, press enter. See, it has printed the output as it's Sunday, it's a holiday. So what will happen if I execute the command again and enter 2? Oh shit, it's Monday again, have to go to work. So as you can see, I can choose between the cases depending upon the value I provide at the runtime. So what will happen now if I give a value that is not in the options? Let it be 5. See, it's given me a default output as please enter a valid day. So this is how you can use switch cases. Now remember one thing, what we teach you over here, either it is switch case, if else or whatever I will be teaching you further, either inheritance, polymorphism, we will be taking the simple examples. So it doesn't mean that you have to stuck with the simple example just to print a line or call a function. You can go on with your own imagination. Just remember one thing, your very first compatible window was written in a C language. So by this you can imagine that you can do a lot with your programming language. So if you have the imagination and you know to do the things, you can do whatever you want. So let's move on with the switch case. These were the few basic rules for switch cases. The very first was that variable used in a switch statement can be a byte, short, int or char. So it doesn't mean that you can't use string. We can use string. I will tell you example with the string too. You can have a number of case statement within a switch. We have seen that. Our third rule is the value of a case must be the same data type as a variable in the switch. So let's have a look. That means day here is our integer data type and the value 1 which we have provided here is also a integer of type. So it says the value should be same. So what will happen if I change the value to a character value? It has not given me any error, but the problem is that you can't use this case because we have the expression here is of integer type and a here is our character type. So if we'll execute the program, it will execute the program successfully, but if you enter the value as a, it will give an error because the expression day is of integer data type and a is our character. So both are of different data types, so it will give an error. So our next rule says that when you execute a program and select a case, it will keep on executing the case till the break statement is reached. So we have got the output as the first line, then a break statement is hit and we are out of the switch case statements. So what will happen if I will remove the break statement? Let's comment it and execute the command again. Now let's enter the 1 again. See, it has printed the two outputs. The first one is of the case first and the second one is of the case 2. So what happens when you don't use the break is that it will keep on executing the statements till a break statement is reached. It doesn't matter you are using the block of code for different cases. It will keep on executing from the case statement you have started till the break statement is reached. And the another rule says that using break statement is optional. So it's up to you and your program that how you want to use the break statement. So this was an example of the switch case statement with the integer data type. It will work the same way for the byte, short, int or long. So if you want to use the character value, you have to write the cases in a single quote, and if you want to use the string value, you have to write the cases in a double quotes. So this will be all for the decision making statements. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. I will be happy to help you out. In this tutorial, we will learn about unary operators. Unary operator means which requires only one operand. So let's see the different type of unary operators first. Unary plus operator, unary minus operator. You can also have unary multiplication, division operators. The most important and the common operator which you will be learning in unary operators are the increment and decrement operator. So let's have a look at the increment and decrement operator first. There are basically two type of increment and decrement operator. The first one is a prefix, that is you will write a double plus sign before an operand, and then there is a postfix operator in which you will be writing a double plus sign after a operand. So let's have a practical example and have a look at the different unary operators, starting with increment and decrement operator. Go to your Eclipse, create a file. So increment mean it will add a value and decrement mean it will subtract a value. So let's just take an example of increment and you can apply the decrement for yourself. Let's take a variable int a and give it a value of 1, post increment the value and now print the value. So let's execute the command first. See, we have got the output as 2. Now let's again take another variable int b is equal to 1, pre-increment the b. Now let's print the value of b. Execute the command now. See, we have got the value of b as 2. So what you can conclude from here is that we have got the same output till now for the postfix and prefix increment. Let's take another variable I and assign the value of postfix variable a to that and print the value of I. Similarly, do the same for the prefix operator and print the value of I. As you can see, I have got the first output as 1 and the second output as 2. So why we have got a different output now? What made the output to be different? So this is what is the basic difference between the prefix and the postfix operator. So what's that difference? That difference is that prefix operator evaluates to the incremented value, but in a postfix operator it will evaluate to the original value first. So this is the basic difference between the postfix increment operator and the prefix increment operator. You can apply the same thing for the decrement operator, it will work the same way. Let's have a brief look at the unary plus operator. So what you need to do is take a variable int result is equal to plus 1. So what we will get as output is 1. Why? Because this is equal to result plus 1. We can write it like this and it will work the same way. So you can try it by yourself for the subtraction sign, multiplication or division sign. That will be all for the unary operator. Thank you.